Okay, folks, so as we cap off a fairly murky day with most indices in the red, or at least flat, a day with recovery and travel stocks specifically leading the downfall thanks to this new variant, and of course now we have the Delta Plus, which is kind of like Disney Plus, but less contagious and healthier for you. You had some pushbacks in meme rallies and of course AMC, and the hood of Robin struck today, more than doubling in the last couple of trading days, but rallying as high as 85 after open for a few short minutes before selling off and then rallying again. Ironically, believe it or not, Robinhood has become one of the most popular retail traded stocks right now, with social sentiment mentions going crazy, everywhere from Wall Street bets to stock twits to your grandma's Reddit trading forum. And the trading data that we have suggests very strongly that this is a retail rally. There's a lot of people right now speculating that this is a short squeeze, but there's not much evidence of this being a short squeeze. This is a very, very hard to borrow stock that had 10 million shares lent out at much lower valuations, but 10 million shares, even if they were all shorted onto the market, it's like, wait, 10 million shares? Look how many shares are outstanding. This isn't enough to motivate even a quarter of this kind of rally. And on the flip side, you're not seeing the usual short attacks we'd see when something goes up this high, specifically because it's a very, very hard to borrow stock and the margin fees are through the roof. Charlie, don't you think that might be because the short sellers want Robinhood to succeed? Short sellers actually work with Robinhood, so they're not going to go and short sell the company? Well, I don't know about that. Conspiracy theorist. They say fate loves irony, and the irony is that Robinhood, who really created and destroyed a lot of meme rallies, just became its own meme stock. But today, a big winner behind the scenes was Cathie of ARK Invest. You see, she took the heavily criticized move of buying Robinhood in its early trading days, and since many of her early positions have more than doubled now. And if I was going to point to one person that set off this buying spree, I would say that it was Cathie of ARK Invest. Retail seems to be pouring in after her. She didn't make the trend, but she seems to have started it. But this isn't a Robinhood video. We're not going to be dedicating this video to robbing the hood. I actually want to talk about what Cathie Wood has been doing behind the scenes. Because as you know, ARK Invest tends to make their most bold and powerful moves when everyone's looking the other way. And then when people start looking again, they're like, oh, I didn't see that coming. Oh man, she got lucky again? Ah, damn it, my luck just doesn't work. If you're unfamiliar, ARK Invest rose to prominence because they basically call it the whole digital innovative tech revolution that we saw in 2020, which led their ETF to the stratosphere. Now 2021 hasn't been as good for innovative tech. But most of her plays and most of the industries that she talks about are pretty much no-brainers. So now that she's taken a lot of bold actions, I want to take some time to talk about what they are and what we need to know about them. And the only thing that I ask of you in return is that you hit that ravishing like button, and also don't forget to subscribe either. Okay, let's go ahead and start. So, as you know, the strategy that Cathie Wood follows is she has a list of high conviction plays that her research team finds. She has certain criteria, like it needs to be a winner-take-all industry, it needs to be an emerging industry, and this needs to be one of the biggest players in said industry. And then after they identify those plays, what they do is they buy them when they're cheap and people are panicking, and they sell them when it's euphoric. And then they rinse and repeat. Some of them they keep throughout the years and they don't sell at all, but almost all of them, including Tesla, which has been one of their most successful plays, they've sold into the euphoria and then rebought back in at lower prices. And the reason is because the market's inefficient. It's an inefficient little temperamental teenager. People FOMO buy, they panic sell, they FOMO buy, they panic sell. That's the movements of the market. ARK Invest knows that, so what do? They find high conviction plays, they buy them at cheap prices, they sell them at high prices. Anyways, let's start with the 3D printing industry. So a big industry she's been buying into is 3D printing, with over 10 separate buy orders for 3D printing company Markforged since mid-July. This company makes printers that are aimed at attacking the rapidly growing manufacturing market. Their printers not only print crucial parts, but they connect together via the cloud and get smarter over time as they get more experience. That brings about shorter production times, lower labor costs, and Markforged has shown substantial early proof of concept and has worked with clients across industries such as the US Army, NASA, SpaceX, Regeneron, Tesla, Toyota, GM, Porsche, and many more. ARK actually has an entire ETF dedicated to the 3D printing market, including Triple D, which is another one of our high conviction plays. But Markforged has been one of their strongest recent acquisitions. Next, we have ARK's moves in the cryptocurrency market. Cathie Wood is, of course, one of the biggest proponents of cryptocurrency, and she has been putting her money where her mouth is, or at least her investors' money where her mouth is. Coinbase, her 6th largest ARK holding, at $1.3 billion invested, has been one of her most controversial picks. traded violently back and forth, and of course the crypto market had flooded out. Obviously a big criticism of crypto trading and really growth trading as a whole is that, hey, growth is absolutely great when it's going up. When you're in one of those euphoria stages, there's nothing quite like growth. But you almost always get those dysphoria stages following the euphoria stages, and hopefully the massive fluctuations back and forth follow an overall upward trend. But the reason that growth is so damn controversial is because you're always going to have massive dysphoria periods. So you're always going to be able to look back and be like, damn, that stock went down dramatically. But you have to think of the bigger picture. Growth stocks are some of the fastest moving stocks, which means that if you're on the right side of that trajectory, which means buying it at good prices, then it's like, hey, there's a lot of room to grow if you're patient and you understand the process. But anyway, since the ARK strategy is to literally buy during setbacks, well, Cathie hasn't been holding back. And I don't need to tell you that Coinbase is one of the leaders in terms of crypto brokerages with over 56 million users, 223 billion in assets, and a quarterly traded volume at 335 billion. Remember, ARK Invest likes to pick companies that are in winner-take-all industries. And the crypto brokerage market is certainly one of those industries. Probably going to be a few different winners, and there's going to be a lot of wannabes. That being said, I'm a little bit worried about stock trading brokers coming in and trying to steal some of that pie from Coinbase. Robinhood, for example, has built up a very, very strong following in terms of cryptocurrencies. We could argue that they're not really cryptocurrencies that you're trading if you're trading them on Robinhood, but for the average investor, they don't care or they don't know. In terms of cryptocurrencies, ARK has also been buying Grayscale Bitcoin Trust with 2 purchases in July. Basically, this is a fund that allows you to track Bitcoin's market price. So by buying this, they're basically buying Bitcoin. ARK has also been planning to launch a Bitcoin ETF themselves. What I'd really like to see them doing is buying crypto miners like Mara or Riot, but we haven't seen that yet. Okay, speaking of fintech, Robinhood. Again, several very large buy orders for Robinhood, over 300 million invested now. Super controversial company, they've dropped the ball many times. So why is ARK invested here? Well, probably because at the end of the day, Robinhood has managed to be a massive disruptor and leader in the retail trading sector. Look, I've been a Robinhood hater for years, if you will. But like I've said before, I can't deny the massive disruptive influence they've had on the industry, from everything from the platforms to the commissions to the overall way of weaponizing the monetization structure of payment for order flow. Robinhood is a good example of hating the player versus hating the game. Robinhood basically looked at the game board, flipped it over, and then flipped off all the competitors. There's no doubt that Robinhood is the biggest hustler in the industry, and that hustlers, while very hated, can also be very, very effective. And Robinhood has been extremely effective at getting retail traders, and although in our finance community and in my own opinion, they've really dropped the ball and have done some really bad errors, the fact of the matter is they moved fast and broke things, and they effectively hustled the entire industry, and I don't think they're going anywhere. And if I'm whispering here for a second, Robinhood has done nothing that a million other brokers wouldn't do in a heartbeat if it was convenient for them. And a lot of them did do it, to be honest. As a content creator and somebody who's very familiar with these issues, I'd like to see them make some really strong progress towards actually doing what they promised, which is democratizing trading for the retail investor. But I also have to be honest, do I think that a lot of these traditional old school brokers that have terrible monetization structures do half of their transactions over the phone still like this is the 1970s? Do I think that those are going to have the same growth rates as Robinhood over the next 20 years? Absolutely not. Robinhood is the leader in the retail trading race, whether we like it or not, and that's just how it is. And right now we're looking at a meme style rally, point blank. But at the end of the day, Robinhood is a hustler, so take it or leave it. Okay, next, one of the biggest holdings of ARK Invest right now is UiPath. We covered this guy a couple weeks ago, but UiPath is their 11th biggest holding, sitting at just under $1 billion invested. In the last 2 months, they've had over 20 separate buy orders. Now, this is a company focused on automating away billions of dollars of useless tasks and helping labor hours become more effective. The goal isn't to replace current jobs, it is to make them more efficient, to get rid of a lot of the annoying tasks and useless tasks like filling out forms that employees have to burden themselves with doing. It wastes money, employees hate doing it, and it's just overall bad. So UiPath is the solution to that. ARK has a huge focus on autonomous technology, and on the same token, if you look at TSP, which is in the autonomous vehicle part of artificial intelligence, TSP is working on autonomous freight, aka an autonomous truck fleet. I don't know about you, but I'm not ready for the day where trucks are driverless. I'm not driving on the road with no driverless trucks. But they do argue that, hey, using autonomous technology can get rid of a lot of that human risk error when it comes to being on the road. If a driver is really tired, if they're breaking rules, if they're just misjudging a situation, if maybe they drank before they drove. Well, all of those things are mitigated by using autonomous technology. Autonomous vehicles can also drive more efficiently, saving gas mileage. They obviously reduce labor costs. Perhaps maybe they could even work aside current truck drivers, similar to how the Tesla system works, in order to partially automate it so that it doesn't replace the job, but it does make the job safer. But overall, when you consider that Tesla has autonomous driving passenger cars on the road, well, it's not crazy to think in maybe a couple decades you have these trucks on the road as well. But TSP, while very, very interesting, it's just too early for me to be really bullish on that. But I do like the technology, and I do acknowledge it. Okay, so some of my takeaways from ARK's buys. Well, first, ARK Invest is kind of a machine. It doesn't have the virtue signaling that retail traders have. I read comments, I see other forums. What are people saying on every single asset class? Oh, I can't buy cryptocurrency because some criminals use it. Oh, I can't buy DraftKings because gambling is wrong. Oh, I can't buy this stock because it's led by a Republican. Oh, I can't buy this stock because it's led by a Democrat. We don't like that other party. I can't buy EV companies because they act like they're green, but batteries cause pollution. Can't buy Tesla. Elon Musk is a troll. He says weird things on Twitter. That means it's a terrible company. I can't buy that biotech company that has the next big cure because they're profiting off sickness. ARK Invest is a machine. It doesn't care about value signaling. ARK Invest buys things that they think is going to be the next big thing in an emerging industry. It's like, what? This is a stock market. This isn't a period for you to go and virtue signal about every damn play. The numbers either make sense or they don't. I'm not saying buy companies that are against your morals at all. But what I am saying is it's a very, very slippery slope. There's nothing that's very good on the market. Everything's a little bit questionable if you get below the surface. And the other big takeaway from these purchases is that, hey, ARK Invest, they're not looking for validation for their plays. As retail traders, we like to buy things only when they're going up and when everybody thinks it's a good deal. If everybody else is buying it, then hey, we should buy it too. Easy. ARK Invest is a robot, so it doesn't have that same emotional instability where it needs to feel validated by every single damn stock purchase. It's like, okay, but the working, buy it at this price, sell it at that price, rinse and repeat. If it takes longer, fine. I already know that I put the work in, and I already know that it's a high conviction play. And I think that we can all learn a little bit of something from them. Anyways, folks, that caps off the video. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us below or join us on ZipTrader Circle if you'd like to learn how to trade with our step-by-step lessons, our private chat, and of course, our daily morning briefings, where we brief on all of our favorite catalysts each and every single market open morning. Well, we'll go ahead and put a link to ZipTrader you below. FUD 50 will get you $50 off before checkout. And if you're wondering what brokers to trade these stocks on, well, we like to send you traders over to Webull. They have a great free stock promotion. They have a great platform, and you can get all of that just by clicking the link below. Anyways, that caps off the video, and I'll see you in the next one.